Hello, Merry Christmas, and welcome to the annual Christmas Q&A video. I'm joined as always by my wonderful sister Mary.
Hi there.
Who only seems to show up in these videos once a year.
Once a year.
To just read questions that other people ask.
Ask the hard-hitting questions.
Exactly. So we got a lot of questions on Twitter, and we're gonna try to answer as many as possible. So Mary, and if your question is not asked, it is Mary's fault.
First up, Michael Scally asks, any new hobbies or interests you picked up in light of pandemic restraints?
I got a lot better at cooking steaks and pork chops.
Adam Lance Garcia asks,
Fuck.
What?
Go ahead.
Will you ever #make DJ canon?
You know what? Yeah. I might make DJ canon. Mary has no idea what this is about.
I have no idea what's happening.
Good. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know who Adam is.
Good. Okay. All right. John Bridges says, serious question. Any New Year's resolutions? Less serious questions, but more fun. In as few words as possible, how would you describe your fashion sense? Oh. And has anyone, personal, celebrity, fictional, whatever, inspired what it is like today?
My fashion sense?
Your fashion sense. I feel like you think a lot about that. Not fashion, but like your clothes.
No, Mary, we should make me look cool. We should say, I don't think about it at all. These old things, I just threw them on. Okay, first of all, New Year's resolutions. I want to try, and I probably will fail at this. I would love to be able to take one day a week off.
Do it.
We'll see.
I've been lobbying for this for years.
I know, it's unlikely. My fashion sense is as few words as possible. Hopefully improving?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're very fashionable. Our grandmother tells him how fashionable he is every time she sees him.
It's the only thing she really cares about in regards to me.
Matt, aka Stormageddon, great name, asks, what was the thing that brought you the most joy this year, and what was the most fun thing to shoot this year?
This will sound sentimental, but because obviously it was a difficult year, spending a lot of time with my parents was really nice. Mm-hmm. I really liked it. I was really lucky to be stuck in this house for 5 months. So yeah, I'm going to say that. Mm-hmm. And what was the most fun thing to shoot? Oh, easy. The Austin Powers montages. Obviously. Ooh. That was the best. If we could do that for every video, I would. I loved that.
We need more videos of you dancing.
Clearly. Not fewer videos of me singing, more of me dancing.
Jordan Bosch asks, when's the Keanu podcast coming back?
Hopefully early 2021. I mean, we paused it because with the pandemic, we weren't able to record in person, which was how we were doing things. And I needed some time to figure out how to make the videos in this situation. Mm-hmm. And then it just became a thing where the videos just kept getting more and more complicated. And the idea of returning to the podcast and adding another responsibility was just too much for me to deal with. So right now I'm just trying to relax a little bit, and then I'll start thinking about okay, getting back to it, lining up guests, stuff like that. So it's gonna come back.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
We understand.
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah. Josh from Network 1901 asks, had the pandemic not happened, would the season have ended differently? And would the season ending coincide with the end of the year?
When we decided to do this back in January, we planned out the season. The plan was to have it start in January and end in December. And then the pandemic derailed some of those plans a little bit. What was the rest of the question? Would it have ended differently? Yeah. No, I think it's still going to end the way that we wanted it to end originally, but it just would have been a 12-month thing instead of a however many months it'll be.
Kai Williams asks, what did you want to accomplish or do differently when creating the trailer for the new Donny Cates comic?
Oh, that's a good question. Mm-hmm. If you didn't see, I made a trailer back in, I think it launched late October, early November, Donny Cates has a new comic out from Panel Syndicate, the like online comic outlet that Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin started. And I made a trailer for it. And a lot of comic trailers, they tend to follow a similar format of like being sort of like the like motion comics, stiff animation sort of thing. And while we knew, especially because we didn't have a ton of time to make it, that we were going to have to use that approach for some of it, that kind of animation, I specifically wanted the trailer to not all be that, which is why the first like half of it opens up with a lot of like live action footage. So I wanted to make it feel not like a regular comics trailer, so you don't know it's a comics trailer for a little bit, and that was my goal with it.
I liked it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Also, when, you know, comic trailers do that animation where like it's the image from the comic, but then it's moving slightly, it always reminds me of those like PBS and library videos, or like the Reading Rainbow videos, you know, where they're like, it's a book, but we're turning it into a video that kids watch, so you don't actually have to read the book. Yeah.
So reading will look cool.
Yeah, and we'll just keep panning across the same image.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
It's just like that. Ooh. Ryan's Cat's Account asks, what were your favorite non-superhero comics of 2020?
I'm gonna say Pulp by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Their graphic novel that came out, was it in the summer? Might have been the summer. Everything by Brubaker and Phillips is like my favorite stuff. I love them so much. And Pulp is just a really great little graphic novel that you can read in like 2 hours, like a great crime story set in the 30s.
Would you call it pulpy?
I would. Well, it's about like a former gunslinger from like the late 1800s who's now like an old man living, who's writing pulp stories in the 30s, and involves like stealing from Nazis in New York. It's great. I'm gonna say Pulp.
Sounds great. Sounds pulpy.
Yeah, I got it for Dad for Christmas.
Oh, nice. Yeah. The Brian Shea asks, can you rank your top 5 Fast and Furious characters? This is hard.
Okay. Han, Roman, Dom, Hobbs only in Fast 5.
Okay.
And then Giselle.
Janoti Thales asks, what is your favorite type of bear?
My favorite type of bear?
Yeah, not beer. At first I thought it said beer. It says bear.
I feel like the obvious answer is Paddington Bear.
Paddington Bear.
Yeah. Mary, what's your favorite type of bear?
Well, that's hard. I love polar bears. They're my favorite animal. But if I were to be a bear, I'd be a black bear. Yeah.
Great. I'm glad everyone knows that now.
Yeah, now you know. So I had to ask that question. Love it.
Of course.
Ooh, this question is kind of about me. Great.
Oh, what? Okay.
The BM Davies asks, might be a little late, what's the most cinephile film, Twitter, movie your parents or sister like? I don't know. Answer for me. Also, what does he mean by...
cinephile film, Twitter, movie?
Yeah.
We're talking like art film. We're talking like Criterion Collection.
Well, you know what mine would be.
The Black Stallion.
The Black Stallion.
Yeah, Carol Ballard's The Black Stallion.
It's so good. It's beautiful. Zoe Deschanel's dad does the cinematography.
Often known as Caleb Deschanel.
Yeah.
One of the greatest cinematographers ever.
Yeah, Zoe Deschanel's dad.
My boy Francis Ford Coppola produced it.
Good job, Francis.
Wasn't it for Christmas a couple of years ago? I got you the print of the Criterion edition cover.
As a poster, which is now framed and hanging in my apartment.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Schweinste asks, did you have a favorite from the videos you made this year?
It might be the Star Wars video from February.
Wow.
That might be my favorite. The last Star Wars video I'm ever going to make.
Wow.
Yeah. You haven't seen it?
Nope, because I haven't seen the last Star Wars movie.
Will you ever?
Yeah,
maybe not.
It's on my list, but I want to watch the movie before watching your video.
Right.
Yeah. So
I mean,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
This is a great question. Okay. Andrew Eisenman asks, have you ever considered making a fan film short about The Spot? I know you love the character, and I really want to see you directing again once the pandemic is over.
I mean, I assume we're not counting the video I made about The Spot in 2011. I think you mean like more of a like straightforward narrative.
I love the video you made in 2011.
Oh yeah,
With the song.
I wrote and recorded a theme song for The Spot. I believe it goes The Spot, The Spot. He's the Spot.
See if you can spot the spot.
Yeah.
That was 2011?
Yeah, that was one of our first videos. I think that was like the 4th video on the channel. I don't intend to make any just like fan films. I'll make short films, but I'm probably not gonna make a fan film about a Spider-Man character.
But
as much as I love The Spot.
Did make a fan film, it would be about The Spot, right?
Sure.
Combat Muffin asks, how many takes did it take to sing the scenes in the snow in a full suit? Loved how wonderfully unnecessary that was, and yet how we are all better for it. I agree, Combat Muffin.
Well, thank you. Yes, I mean, I feel like that generally the vibe I go for every video is, man, they really didn't have to try this hard. Why did they go to this much effort? Well, we tried it one day. Mary helped me shoot some of it. We tried it one day during a snowstorm.
It was snowing so hard, and you couldn't see anything.
It was snowing too hard. It didn't work. And then the next day, it was not as cold as you might think it was.
It was pretty warm that day.
It was. And I had like thermal like Under Armour underneath all my clothes, so I wasn't too cold.
You did have to shovel out a good 3 feet of snow.
Yeah, the tough part is the snow was like up to my like thighs, and so it was just tough to move in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mellow Jello 100 asks, was Charles a spur of the moment thing, or did he have a complete story arc from the beginning?
We have known pretty much the whole Charles storyline since before the first video of the season. So like early January a year ago, we kind of knew, we figured it out.
Intriguing.
Like pretty much the whole thing.
Mysterious.
Yeah.
One might say. That Charney girl asks, are you a fan of Carly Rae Jepsen?
Of course I am.
Yes.
I mean, I have 2 ears and a heart, don't I? And I'll just stick on the long silence after that comment.
Sorry. Anthony W82 asks, is there a movie you didn't like the first time you saw it, but you ended up seeing it again and liking it more? Or vice versa?
It's not that I disliked it the first time, but I remember when I first saw Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, I was like, I think it's good, but I don't think I got it. And then I had to watch it again, and I was like, oh, okay, I can follow it now, and now I think it's great. So there you go.
Okay, Lauren Damon asks, who's an actor, actress, and or director that you'd like to see make a comeback?
My boy Josh Hartnett, of course.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, I guess it's gonna kind of happen, but the fact that it's been 7 years since Sam Raimi made a movie is awful. And but he's making the new Doctor Strange movie, so I guess he's gonna have a comeback. So there you go.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Mr. Picard Art asks, what's your dream X-Men creative team? You can pull from any point in time to construct this dream collaboration.
Any point in time?
Any point, the future.
You know what? Let's just grab the Swamp Thing team of Alan Moore and John Totleben, or Totleben, I don't know how you say his name. Let's just have, I'd read their X-Men, that'd be good.
Okay, I don't understand this question. Chuck Struck asks, what's your price to hashtag make Adam canon? Who's Adam?
It's not gonna happen.
Who's Adam?
Mary, that's such a long, that question requires such a long answer, and I don't have time for it. You're better off not knowing.
I don't think it's going to happen, guys. He won't even tell me who Adam is.
Anyone who's not on Twitter is so confused by that. I mean, you're confused by that,
Yeah,
but
I'm not on Twitter. Luke J. Blaylock asks, comic book highlights of the year. I know you said in a couple of videos that you were a bit behind, but I'd love to know what you enjoyed this year from trades and signed issues, even if it didn't come out in 2020.
I've been trying to catch up on a lot of stuff, and I brought home with me for Christmas a full short box of comics and a stack of graphic novels like this big. I'm currently catching up on X of Swords or 10 of Swords. I don't know what you're actually supposed to call it. Really enjoying it. I just got all caught up on Immortal Hulk. It's so good. But I think so. Strange Adventures might be my favorite comic of the year, but I'm also behind on a lot of comics. So there you go. There's some answers. And the aforementioned Pulp. It's great.
Secret HQ asks, I too am super curious about Nebula. Does it draw views away from YouTube, and is that worth it? I prefer to watch a Nebula, but always worry I'm hurting rather than helping by doing that.
Is there more to the question?
It just says you used to post on YouTube first, but maybe you're trending away from that?
Okay, this is a good question. I've gotten this question before because Nebula is always being promoted in the videos, and people are like, where should I watch videos? Where will it support you the most? It does not matter. It genuinely does not matter. I will say, I do get paid from Nebula views, so that's still working out for me. And the vast, vast majority of the views will always come from YouTube, so it really doesn't matter. Watch wherever you want, and I will say, as I've said before, Nebula's video compression is better than YouTube's, and so YouTube it's always frustrating because it degrades the cinematography a little bit, and there's more artifacting, and Nebula doesn't do that as much, so the videos look better on Nebula. But really watch wherever you want. It does not matter to me.
Jay Latham asks, I know there's always the debate about Die Hard being a Christmas movie. It is. But I want to know what's the least Christmas movie. What film's Christmassiness is never in question, but really should be? Jingle All the Way. Sorry.
No, I mean...
Jingle All the Way, everyone is a horrible, horrible person.
Well... I mean, yeah, but it's also it's all relentless, Christmas of all time. I mean, the thing is, It's a Wonderful Life is it is a movie where it's only really Christmas during the last half hour, but it's just that the core themes and ideas of it encapsulate fit so well into Christmas that it is a Christmas classic. Even though most of the movie has nothing to do with Christmas.
Cameron Geyser asks, any more Blue Flame special episodes in the works?
None planned, but there always could be. Yeah, it's not like it's canceled. It's just I'm not immediately planning on making anything. To be fair, I don't know what any of the videos in 2021 are going to be. I don't have anything planned right now, so...
Spiffy Neostar asks, what is the name for a group of charl, like a herd of bison or a flock of geese?
A chunk of charl? I feel like the plural of charl is Charles. And so you'd say a bunch of charls.
But would it where you have one goose and then you have multiple geese, you could just change the vowel.
So churl?
Oh, I like churl.
Oh yes, look at all the churl.
I like that.
This is not necessarily canon.
I'm lobbying for churl. All right, Justin Fleming asks, was there an inspiration for the overlapping arc of your YouTube this year, or was it more born of necessity?
I think the reason that we decided to do a season-long narrative story arc in video essays, which I obviously is a weird thing to do, is just that, and this is kind of my problem constantly, I don't like doing the same thing over and over and over. That's why all the videos are so different and I don't use the same format every time. I constantly want to try something new and be changing what I'm doing and to stay excited about it. And because there had already been like narrative framing devices for the videos, this seemed like an exciting new challenge.
And also, it kind of came from the Patrick Explains, right? Like, you started doing the continuous arc in the Patrick Explains.
That was already, yeah, exactly.
And then it kind of bled into everything else.
Exactly. But actually, the real inspiration just came from the fact that, I don't know who does it, but people put all of the videos on IMDb as a TV show called Patrick Willems Video Essays. And whoever does this marks each year as a season. And when I saw that, it was last year, because if you look at the last video of 2019, it says in the title season finale. I was like, hey, let's start treating these like seasons. And at first it was just like kind of an arbitrary thing, like, yeah, we'll have a season premiere and a season finale, and then in between it won't really matter. But then I thought about it too hard, and I was like, wait, what if we took it really seriously and it was a season? But now, obviously, because this season is carrying on past the end of the year, we're now breaking the format for the people who log the videos on IMDb, so it's just confusing. But that's where it came from.
Chris McIntyre asks, what's Charles like when he wakes up in the morning? Is he grumpy, or does he just get up and be effortlessly handsome?
Great question.
The Jake Barton asks, do you think the theater experience, or lack thereof with streaming now, affects movie reviews?
I do. It definitely, in my opinion, affects just people's opinions of movies, especially when it comes to like blockbuster movies, like movies with like a lot of spectacle that you would normally watch on a very big screen, like with the big crowd. And then when you're watching it on your TV, it's like a thing that might be really impressive, or like that might give you this like visceral reaction, just kind of becomes, oh, that's nice. And so I think good critics are cognizant enough of the difference in experience and are going to try to treat a movie the same as that they would if they were watching it in like a regular like press screening. But I definitely think that the different way of watching it is affecting the way people, like audiences and viewers, are reacting.
Dallas Comics asks, well, you kind of already talked about favorite comic book runs, but what's your most anticipated film of 2021?
Assuming it still comes out this year, The Matrix 4.
Armando Marchetti asks, is there a technical topic, like color grading or aspect ratio, you'd want to make a video about?
One big video that I would love to make that is would be so complicated to make. I want to make a video that really does look at the way the look of movies changed with, at first, the advent of color grading, like digital color grading, and then the shift from film to digital video, and to really get into like what the attributes of film, like celluloid, are. The thing about that is, I only want to do that video if I can shoot, if I can actually shoot stuff on film for it, which is complicated. So that's one that I want to get into and want to do at some point. That may just be like a documentary.
You should do that.
Yeah, I know.
That'd be cool.
It's one thing to say, I want to make a documentary where I shoot on film, and then doing it is another thing.
I think we could set it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do it.
Let's do it.
Spencer Nielsen asks, have you read Grant Morrison and Dan Mora's Claws? If so, how do you feel about it? I
have not. It's crazy. I have not read the Grant Morrison Santa Claus comic.
You gotta read it.
I know. I don't. Wait, I have the first issue, and then I think it was one of the many times that I fell way behind on comics, and I was like, I'll get the trade, and then I never got the trade. I really need to read it. Also, and I've become a fan of Dan Mora, the artist, since then, and he's amazing. So yeah, I gotta read it.
Greg Stevens asks, what's the true meaning of Christmas?
The meaning of Christmas is the idea that Christmas has meaning, and it can mean whatever we want. I'm just quoting the Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas, the Community episode, which I said this in a video before. I think, in my opinion, sums up the idea and meaning of Christmas better than I think any piece of media I've seen.
Zachary Breland asks, go-to Chinese takeout order, Thai order, mild, medium, or hot?
I mean, it's such a cliche, but I'm a General Tso's man. I love the General. I love his chicken. That's it.
That's what he gets.
Maybe I'll get a side of like crab rangoon. Maybe some wonton soup.
The Bugler Bigler asks, what made you hopeful about the future of film in 2020?
Very little.
Oh.
Okay, actually.
Give them something positive.
Yeah. One of the only things that made me hopeful about the future of film was, okay, so after Warner Brothers announced that they were going to put all of their 2021 movies simultaneously in theaters and on HBO Max, which I thought was a bad idea. The response from so many major directors like Chris Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, James Gunn, so many people who were just like, we do not approve of this. We were not consulted on this. We think this is a bad idea. We don't want to work with the studio going forward if this is going to be their policy. The fact that they like did something about it and are already, it looks like getting the studio to like walk this back a little bit, that gave me a bit of hope because not much else did. Michael
Rennie asks, what movie or franchise would be improved by adding Paddington Bear?
All of them.
Okay, but let's think about at least one specifically.
Well, okay, Fast and Furious would make a lot of sense because those movies are so sentimental and about
family.
They're about family, families who love each other. And so the way that Paddington fits in so well with the Brown family, you could see him fitting in well with like the Toretto crew. That would make a lot of sense.
That'd be adorable.
It would be great. Yeah. He could take care of like Brian and Mia's baby.
What if something happened to Aunt Lucy and he needed their help to get her back and protect her?
Yes, and this will be in Paddington 3, in which, as I have always said, Daniel Day-Lewis will come out of retirement to play the villain.
He has to.
And Paddington has to. And here's the thing, look. The Fast and Furious movies have been going, they go to London in 6. Yeah. I believe they're in London in 9, which, we haven't seen yet. So look, it's just a quick jump over to
easy to just fit them together.
To Windsor Terrace. Is it Windsor Terrace, Windsor Gardens?
Windsor Gardens.
Windsor Gardens.
Because Windsor Terrace is in Brooklyn.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, also, Mission Impossible would make sense as well, considering that both Paddington movies have Mission Impossible homages in their third act set pieces, and also the Mission Impossible movies keep going to London. 5 goes to London. 6 goes to London. Chances are 7 and 8 are going to London. So, it's one of those things. Like, there's a thing where Ethan will be like, we got to get into this building. And he'll be like, Benji, what are we going to do? And Benji's like, I know a guy. And by guy, I mean bear. And then Paddington rolls in and he's like, we'll use marmalade to climb up this building. It writes itself.
Wow.
Why am I not getting paid for this?
Oh, this is the Gunch asks, any plans to bring back the TV show format? Or sorry, the talk show format? It was my favorite.
No. I loved the talk show format as well. The talk show format was really, it was a way to adapt to quarantine and lockdown, specifically while at my parents' house. Unless I get stuck here again, I don't see myself bringing it back. It was a solution to the situation I found myself in. So, sorry.
Augustine Macias asks, what does Charles think of the Charles plushies?
Loves them.
Jacob Doan asks, in response to your Austin Powers nostalgia video, would you agree that nobody actually utilizes nostalgia in movies better than Linklater, specifically Dazed and Confused, and Everybody Wants Some?
Yeah. I think those are both great examples, and Linklater is really, really good at this. I think what is key to what's successful about those movies and the way he deals with nostalgia is that those are movies that are really just about like being a specific age. And I think for him, being that specific age just happens to be at the time those movies are set. So they're not movies that are just like, oh my God, 1980 was the greatest year ever. Let's just put in all the stuff from 1980. It's more like, oh no, this is a movie about like going to college and making friends. And for me, that happened to be that time. So we're setting it in that time. Those movies never feel like they're using nostalgia for like easy, like emotional beats or like to like pressing buttons just like to get the audience to react like, oh wow, yeah, those clothes and that song, I remember that. Like there's more to it than that. So yeah, and, in conclusion, Linklater is good. And everybody should see Everybody Wants Some because I love that movie. And I don't know, no one seemed to see it in theaters. I wish that movie was like 5 hours long. It's wonderful.
Al Urrutia asks, what's a reaction to a video or videos from this year that surprised you the most?
I really, really thought people were going to be furious about the R-rated superheroes video. Oh. I remember when that video was done and it was uploaded and my finger was hovering over the button to make it public, and I was just dreading it. I was like, this is gonna be a night. I'm just like opening this like nightmare door, and my life is gonna be miserable for the next week because of the responses that this will inevitably get. And then the reception was great. I, to my knowledge, didn't get any like toxic, shitty responses. It was good. I was so surprised.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great to have really low expectations and have them exceeded.
Little Fires Comic asks, who is a director you'd really want to see a blank check series on?
Look, I've said this before. I said it when I was a guest on Blank Check this year. I want to see the Michael Bay series. I understand why people don't want it. I would like to see it. I would also like the Barry Sonnenfeld series. Oh, actually, I really want to see the Ridley Scott series, the one that David is always saying he wants to do. That would be so long, but I want it. So there you go. But Michael Bay, it would be so entertaining.
Ben asks, advice. It's Ben with a lot of underscores.
No, I love the way you read everyone's Twitter name.
Okay, Ben asks, advice for teenagers getting into film, in parentheses, how not to be insufferable, etc.
You've probably heard me say something like this before, but it also might sound weird considering what I do for a living. Teenagers getting into film, read film criticism more than you watch YouTube film criticism. Obviously, there is good film criticism on YouTube, but I think you will learn more and gain more like nuanced takes and opinions by reading traditional film criticism rather than like watching YouTube videos. Yeah, read.
Can I add advice?
Yeah.
This advice is from Mary. I think also, especially if you're like a teenage boy or a college age boy, understand that your opinion is not a fact, and that especially not to make women feel like their opinion is wrong about movies, and that if you don't like a film, then it's a bad film, and to, tell that to other people. That would be my piece of advice.
Good advice.
Yeah. Ryan Summers asks, what's your dream team up of director and character in the world of superhero movies?
I mean, a Brad Bird Superman movie would be good.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, at this point, there's so many, like, it's weird because we're getting like every movie I never thought that would ever exist. But I still just, I want a great Superman movie in my lifetime. That's what I want more than anything else. I think Brad Bird is a guy who's like an interesting enough director and would have enough power to like make the movie that he wants to make. And obviously like The Iron Giant is like already a great Superman movie, so he could obviously do it. So, yeah, I mean, people have been saying this for years, but I think because it's true. Brad Bird, Superman.
Here's a question from Rory Hartong Redden. Was film school worth it?
I didn't actually go to film school. We both went to Oberlin College.
A small liberal arts college.
In Ohio.
Beautiful Ohio.
Yeah, and I majored in cinema studies, which is basically like getting an English degree, but for movies. So it's not like traditional film school. I spent a semester at a film school in Prague, but that was only like 4 months. So I can't really tell you. I did not do traditional film school.
Was it worth it to get a cinema studies degree?
Yes. Despite my frustrations with aspects of the Oberlin College Cinema Studies department, I think it was absolutely beneficial to me to spend 4 years at that school. And I learned a lot and got better at whatever I do because of it.
Nathan Wellman asks, what is the weirdest art house movie you've ever loved?
Holy Motors?
Yeah, that was what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Ah!
But I feel like there are weirder ones I'm just forgetting.
Probably, but that one was great.
I love Holy Motors.
Fun.
Yeah, I brought you to see that.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Yep.
Ephraim Oliver asks, what would you want to see in Paddington 3?
Daniel Day-Lewis as the villain.
Owen Symes asks, thoughts on David Lynch's Dune?
Haven't seen it.
Feed Monsalve asks, Oasis biopic from the perspective of Bonehead? Yes?
Yes. Could be Fede.
Oh, sorry. Fede? Monsalve? I'm very sorry if I've mispronounced anyone's name.
Yeah. Oasis biopic from the perspective of Bonehead? That sounds great.
What's Bonehead?
Bonehead was the rhythm guitarist in Oasis for the first 3 albums. His real name is Paul Arthurs.
Okay.
The other members, other than Liam and Noel, were Bonehead and Gwigsy. Paul McGuigan was the bassist.
Okay.
They were the ones who stood there. And
What about a drummer?
well, they've had multiple drummers. The original drummer was Tony McCarroll. Then he got fired after the first album because he was not good enough to play the stuff that they needed for the second one. Then he sued them. Then Alan White was the drummer up through Heathen Chemistry. No one cares about this, but Bonehead, who has recently, he's been touring with Liam. They're back together, and Liam has always been like, it was never the same after Bonehead left. Bonehead was the heart and soul of the band. Bonehead was the guy who just like stood there wide-eyed silently, and like no one ever heard him talk. And he didn't write songs or anything like that. But Bonehead seems like an interesting guy, and I would totally watch a movie from Bonehead's perspective, just observing stuff that was going on.
Stuart Robin asks, how would you have saved Quibi?
How would I have saved Quibi?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what Quibi is?
No.
Oh my God.
What's Quibi?
Sorry, see, Mary moved out of New York City about almost 2 years ago and now lives in Vermont.
Yeah.
So she is not very online.
No.
Very not online, you could say.
Yeah.
And also, now that you're not in New York, you don't see like ads everywhere
I
for
don't
stuff.
see ads for things.
So Mary doesn't know. I'm not saying you don't know important things, but you don't.
I have huge holes in my knowledge.
When it comes to like the bullshit that I care about, that's just like movies and pop culture and stuff, Mary does not know what is going on. A couple nights ago, I introduced Mary to Zendaya as Michi, the Demi Adejuibe September videos, and the Nick Lutzko Spirit Halloween song.
Oh yeah, I hadn't seen any of them.
That's like years. Well, like that's like 3 years worth of stuff she did not know about. So
Delightful.
Great, great. But so Mary doesn't know what Quibi is.
I don't know what Quibi is.
Quibi is a mobile-only streaming platform that launched and died this year.
When you say mobile only on your phone?
Only on your phone.
Okay.
Number one, okay, how to save Quibi? Make it not only on phones. It was founded by Jeffrey Katzenberg, who used to run Disney, who co-founded DreamWorks.
Yeah.
There were billions of dollars put into this. There were so many shows with like that cost so much money, like created by and starring like huge celebrities. there were like movies, but the thing is, Quibi's is short for quick bite, and so like everything was like shorter than 10 minutes, and it was designed so like you could watch it like vertically or horizontally, and it would like flip while you're watching it. Anyway, okay, two things to save. Actually, three moves to save Quibi. First, make it not only available on mobile, because sometimes you're at home and you want to watch a thing on your TV or a computer. Second of all, make it so you can actually take screenshots. The lack of the ability to like share stuff from it, I think is a bad, if you want people to like hear about your stuff, that's a bad idea. And third, invest less in like just A-list celebrities and more in like up and coming like internet creators, and give them the resources to make exciting things that might draw people to the platform, because it's something like new and exciting instead of just like watered down regular TV on your phone. Anyway, it's too late. Quibi's dead. Hey, at least my boy Josh Hartnett got to appear in that Kevin Hart show.
Moses Prado asks, what are your thoughts on Mandalorian Season 2 and fan service? Should Disney decanonize the sequel trilogy?
Okay, the second question, no. As much as we could say I'm not a fan of The Rise of Skywalker, and don't ever want to see it again, no, they should not. Don't decanonize anything. That's a fucking stupid idea. My thoughts on Mandalorian Season 2 and fan service. For most of the season, I thought it was striking an okay balance. I like Season 2 a lot more than Season 1. And then the last 10 minutes of Season 2 were kind of what I was afraid it might be. And I thought it stepped too far into basically just like, you know, into like derailing the story they were telling for the sake of pandering to fans who just wanted to see characters from the original trilogy be cool badasses. And it kind of bummed me out.
Bummer.
Yep. Mary has not watched the show.
No.
My dad has.
Yeah.
My dad, who doesn't really care about Star Wars, was much more positive about it than I was.
Yeah.
So there you go. What do I know?
Caroline Liddick asks, what's your personal favorite song from each Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, and The Greatest Showman? Okay,
great question. Okay, Mamma Mia 1, I think I'm going to go with Lay All Your Love on Me.
Good one.
It's so weird. For Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, I want to say Mamma Mia, like the title song, but it has to be Dancing Queen because...
Is it the one with the boat?
Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Because the Dancing Queen scene in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is like one of the great scenes in the past decade of cinema. So it has to be Dancing Queen. And then from The Greatest Showman, I think it has to be The Greatest Show. Because this is The Greatest Show.
What a weird movie.
Mary, have you heard that this is The Greatest Show?
I heard a few times.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. Okay, Lost Alphabet asks, what question did you ask Francis Ford Coppola during your Zoom call? Question. This one has plagued me for months.
That's actually a great question. Okay, on the Zoom call with Francis, I got in the last question of the night. My question was, when he is, like before he gets on set to direct a scene, I was curious about how much planning he does for how he wants to shoot the scene. Like, does he have every shot and edit like planned out ahead of time, or does he kind of find it on the day? And what he said was that he has a general idea of like shots he'll use and how he wants the scene to be, but that if anything unexpected and interesting happens on the set, if he sees anything that he didn't expect, he will always take that detour and follow that new thing. And he says he has never regretted any detour he's ever taken.
Wow.
So Francis, yeah.
Wise guy.
We're best friends.
Yep. His good friend Francis.
at the end of the call, Francis did say, "We're all friends here." So
Patrick's really taken liberty with that.
I was included. He said that to me. We're friends.
Sure. TJ Lowe asks, is there a chance we'll get more stuff where you talk about comics, currently reading, from your childhood, oldies you missed, etc.? Not necessarily a video, but maybe a monthly text post on Patreon or a thread on Twitter?
It's definitely possible.
That sounds like a nice idea.
It does.
You should do that.
But also right now, the idea of doing any extra thing in addition to the videos is very stressful. But I did a couple videos this year where I talked about comics, so it's quite possible there will be more.
Hey. Quite a few people have asked, how are you?
Wait, really?
Yeah. I've seen like 3 or 4. Like, how are you doing? How are you?
Are people worried about me?
Probably. You seem stressed sometimes.
I'm good. As much as I'm like stressed out a lot and anxious and, tired, I'm fully aware of like what a fortunate position that I'm in, where like during this awful year where so many people have had, have dealt with, whether it's not just like medical stuff, but just like their work has been affected, their whole lives have been thrown into disarray. I've been able to pretty much keep on doing what I was doing. I already worked from home. Mm-hmm. And so I just like spent the year just working all the time. And it was tiring, but I'm like happy with the work I made. I'm taking a bit of time off now. He is. Yeah.
All happy about that.
Yeah, and so I'm feeling pretty good. I didn't set an alarm last night. I just I'll wake up when I wake up. I woke up at like 8:30. But yeah, I'm doing well, and I think I'll feel better by the day. But yeah, you don't worry about me.
He's doing great.
I'm okay.
Hidden asks opinions on anime other than Ghibli.
I'm not as well versed in it as I should be. I love Akira, which is such an obvious cliche statement. I like the Mamoru Hosoda films that I've seen. I need to catch up on some of his. Last year, like 2019, I finally watched Evangelion. I really liked it. I started watching My Hero Academia recently, and I think I'll maybe over like while I'm taking this break, I'll watch a bit more of it. Anime just in general is very daunting to me because there's so much of it and so many shows are so long. And I'm just like, where do I start? There's so much.
The next 2 questions are very just straight to the point questions. I like them a lot.
Terrific.
Okay, Patrick Zarathustra asks, would you like to direct a movie?
Yeah.
Krisha CZ asks, do you like Bionicles?
No. I like Lego. Okay. Bionicle, I think I had a Bionicle when I was younger. Yeah. It was never my preferred kind of Lego.
I think we were a little bit too old. Like, I think it was popular with kids that were like a couple years younger than us.
But also with Legos, like I like to, like when I get Lego now, it'll be like, with the giant like Batmobile. It's like I want to construct a large thing and spend a lot of time following directions and like putting the little pieces on stuff. I'm not as like Bionicles are kind of like what if Legos were action figures.
Right. It's kind of like a Transformer.
Yeah, for me the appeal of Legos is largely in the construction of it, and so Bionicles, they don't have as much of an appeal.
I'm so glad we found out how you felt about Bionicles.
I think we're going to put that in the thumbnail, just like, finally, Patrick answers the Bionicle question.
Buhanul asks, are you happy with how your audience reacted to you no longer making videos about the big franchises?
Yes. I'm completely aware that I have this need to make my life more difficult and like keep shooting myself in the foot by being like, those hugely popular topics that guarantee views on YouTube, like Marvel or Star Wars, I'm gonna stop talking about them forever. That's a weird move, but a little bit of why I feel okay doing that is because at this point, I feel like the audience for the channel is pretty much down to like go with me to like whatever I want to talk about. As much as like I complained that like, oh no, like the Little Women video didn't get as many views as I would have liked. It still did okay. It wasn't like a disaster. It's like, I know a lot of people on YouTube, there's kind of like the need to be like, oh, well, I guess it's time to do like a Marvel video to get the views up. And somehow the audience has just gotten to a place where it's like they'll watch the stuff that is about movies they might not care as much about. You know what? I attribute it to Charles. It's the Charles factor. If Charles is going to be in a video, I guess people will watch it.
I actually have another question here that's kind of a follow-up.
Great.
Nate Thatcher asks, I just rewatched your Little Women video, and I wondered if it continued performing poorly. It's such a shame, and I hope you haven't received it as a rebuke. Can we have more of that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, the Little Women video, I think outside of maybe like, outside of the April Fool's video, which, you know, obviously isn't like a regular video, I think the Little Women video is like has like the least views of any of the regular videos this year, but not by a huge margin. By no means did I take any lesson away from that. That's not gonna, I mean, it's not like I have like a 10-part Greta Gerwig series lined up next, but
your next video should be Patrick Reed's Anne of Green Gables and does a video about it because it's just a series of videos to make Mary happy.
See, what we need to point out here is that for the Little Women video, I read the book Little Women, which is a book that Mary loves.
Of course.
And she demanded that I text her, actually just call you with daily updates about where I was in the book.
Experience.
And then we had a very long conversation about it when I was done. And I believe you said that the best gift I ever gave you was just reading Little Women.
It was great. It was a great gift.
So yeah. So look, who cares about the views when I could make my sister happy?
That's what's really important. Okay, very important question. Reese Gallagher asks, definitely maybe or Morning Glory?
Definitely maybe by like, definitely maybe I believe is my favorite album of all time. Wow, 2 Oasis questions.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ian Schrank asks, how are your parents? Did they have a nice holiday?
They're great.
They're great.
And yes, they did.
Yeah, they're having a great time. My mom would like you to know that Christmas is not over. The 12 days of Christmas begin on Christmas.
On the 25th of December.
On the 25th. And it continues until Little Christmas on January 6th. So you better not be asking how was your Christmas, because she'll be very upset about it.
Exactly. Hey, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Good. We're starting to get hungry. We had a plan for dinner that involves you, but we needed to speak to you about it.
Okay, we'll be done soon.
Okay, good.
Humphrey again for the Crimbus asks, do you like the Heart in a Blender song?
Oh. By Eve Sick.
Beautiful Oblivion.
Yeah. Rendezvous and I'm through with you. I haven't listened to it in a while. I dug it when I was in like 4th grade.
I like it. Andre Baston asks, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Well, I have a few.
Okay.
Many a time, we together will do Wild Wild West by Will Smith.
I sing the Cisco part.
Exactly.
You do the rap.
I do the raps. Patrick on raps.
Yeah.
22 by Taylor Swift. Oh, Kiss from a Rose.
Yes.
Sometimes Common People by Pulp. I miss karaoke. We can't do it anymore.
I know. Mark Aquivote asks, is Charles a double agent for Krasinski?
How dare you? No.
Okay, Joe Turner asks, how has the inclusion of a season-long story arc impacted new subscribers' channel growth? Curious if new people just ignore the story, are turned off, or it drives them to watch more old videos.
That's a good question. Channel growth has been pretty slow for a while. It's been slow this year, but it was also slow last year. I do definitely think that having so much narrative stuff, having such an emphasis on the ongoing serialized storyline, it isn't great for growth because they might be like, oh, I'm interested in this topic. And then it starts, and then people are just like, I don't know, I'm like yelling at my agent about a coconut, and they're like, no thanks.
Yeah.
But we're not getting a whole lot of new viewers. And yes, I am aware that some people did find the channel this year and then go back and watch the season from the start. So I'm not talking about every single case, but in general, the channel grows slowly. We're not gaining a ton of new subscribers, but the levels of like, I look at the analytics and like the engagement levels and like the views and comments and all of that stuff is extremely consistent, like video to video, regardless of topic. And so I think the narrative, while it may make the videos less accessible to new viewers, I think it is for like viewers that we already have, for a lot of them, like really like holding them in and maybe like making them more likely to like watch every video if they wouldn't have before. So, you know, it's a trade-off, I guess. The channel is doing fine. I'm doing fine, so I'm cool with it.
Jari Kompa asks, is Charl going to have an epic origin story?
Maybe. Maybe it's time for the last question because I have finished my wine.
Okay. The last question is Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again the best title for a sequel ever? And if not, what is?
No, that's it. Yeah.
It's good.
The thing is, every sequel title should be Here We Go Again.
Here we go again.
Yeah. Avengers, Here We Go Again. Yeah. Rocky, Here We Go Again. The Godfather, Here We Go Again.
What would the third one be, though? Like Godfather 3, if the second is Here We Go Again. Would it be?
My.
What? No. Or like, we're still going.
Well, no, it's got to be a line from the song Mamma Mia.
I cannot forget you. Here we go again. I cannot forget you. What if it was like...
That's not the line. How can I resist you?
How can I resist... Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
What if it was The Godfather, The Godfather 2, Here We Go Again, The Godfather 3, How Can I Resist You?
That's kind of right, because The Godfather 3 is the one where he goes, just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. There's my Pacino impression. When that's kind of it. It's like, crime, how can I resist you? I'm not good at doing a Pacino impression. We should end this.
We should stop. We're gonna.
Anyway, thank you everyone for watching this, 2, asking great questions.
Great questions.
3, for sticking with us during this whole year. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
For
asking hard-hitting questions.
Exactly. Remember, if your question was not asked, it is
You're
Mary's
mad at
fault.
Me, not him.
Yeah, please don't get mad at me.
No.
People are still mad at me because I said I don't care about plot holes 2 years ago. Yeah, it's exhausting. Anyway, that's all for now. Mary's not online, so don't follow her anywhere. And keep having a Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.